In this video, we will see how to fine-tune ChatGPT step by painful, detailed step. There are a few important things we need to cover before we begin. First of all, this only became possible a few days ago. If you've seen another guide claiming to teach you how to fine-tune ChatGPT, you've been misled. Up until now, it was possible to fine-tune OpenAI's models, but only until version 3. This is the first time you can fine-tune GPT 3.5, which is the model behind ChatGPT. Also, one key difference, a lot of people seem to mix these two up. Prompting is very different than fine-tuning. You can prompt ChatGPT as much as you want, but eventually it's gonna start forgetting the instructions. It's not like you ingrain the prompts deeply within it. Fine-tuning is a little different. It intrinsically changes the model so that you can customize it and make it really sound the way you want it to sound. I would consider fine-tuning if you have a few specific use cases in mind. Maybe you want higher quality outputs, maybe you want to use shorter prompts, and in my opinion, most importantly, you can now input a lot more data with fine-tuning than you could ever do it with prompts. The best use cases I can think of for fine-tuning ChatGPT involve training it to sound like someone or produce content in a certain output format. Obviously, bloggers, marketers, salespeople, entrepreneurs, all kinds of little schemers and liars and hustlers will benefit massively from the ability to fine-tune ChatGPT. You can finally clone your brilliant self and have someone who understands you and makes money for you. That is until the day it becomes sentient and turns on you and betrays you. Also, fine-tuning doesn't play well with a lot of data. You can use it to change the style, the tone, the voice, the way it outputs things, but you cannot really train it on new data points a lot. If you want to do that, you have to use a different process called embedding. So if you were thinking you can simply input all the data after the September 2022 cutoff and just dominate the world with this new super powerful AI at your disposal, you are mistaken. That's all the fine print you need to know about this. Now let's get to fine-tuning. We are practical people here, so we'll do an example. I keep a roof over my head through blogging, so obviously I'm gonna fine-tune ChatGPT to create blogs in exactly the same way I do. For this, it's important to know that I already have content that has been proven to work in the past. This is content that I wrote and formatted myself, something that will probably be strange to people 20 years from now. The fine-tuning data needs to be formatted in the conversational chat format. You can find all of this in a fine-tuning guide for ChatGPT provided by AI, so we have all the roles that you can usually find in the OpenAI playground. We have the system role, we have the user role, and the assistant role. We're gonna need to provide data for all three of them. Also, keep in mind that one training dataset will need to include 10 examples. In fact, that's the minimum. The recommended is 50 to 100. So basically, this is the format that you will use to feed data to ChatGPT and fine-tune it. You can think of the system role as a sort of a general prompt, something that you want to be true no matter what. For that, I already have ready my prepared prompt that I use for writing blogs. In case you didn't see my guide on how to use AI for SEO, go ahead and check that out. This prompt is almost the same thing. We want friendly, professional content that's helpful to readers, but also very suitable for SEO and ranking well. We're just gonna grab that and paste it in 9 of the 10 examples we're gonna send. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with the 10th example later. Now, the second input required is the user input. This is like the individual prompt that you're gonna use. Usually, this is gonna be a keyword that you want an entire article produced for. I'm gonna use one of my blogs as an example. The niche here is tech, gadgets, and minimalist wallets. I recommend taking your best performing articles and using them to train and fine-tune ChatGPT. So we're gonna enter all of the most important and best performing articles here one by one in the following way. Please write an article for the keyword best wallets for men. We're gonna do the same for the rest of the 8 articles here and just enter the titles of the best performing articles. Now, the final field that you will need to fill out is the assistant field. This is essentially gonna tell ChatGPT exactly how you want your content to look. You're gonna give it the precise formatting. You're gonna train it how to do things exactly your way. Now, this is the most painful part of the entire guide. First, you're gonna have to open all of the articles one by one, hit the F12 button or go right-click, inspect element, and copy the HTML of the entire article. Actually, you don't have to do the entire article, I just want to get the relevant parts. I believe that if you search for the first article tag that encapsulates all of the important content, you can actually grab it, copy it, paste it in another document, and there we have it. This is the HTML. However, this thing has a lot of HTML comments. It has some scripts as well, some unnecessary stylings and data, a lot of garbage, and actually the HTML has a lot of properties and classes and attributes that don't really help ChatGPT learn anything. They're just taking up space and they're increasing the chances for something to go wrong. Also, we're gonna need this entire thing to be in one line so that we can send it over to ChatGPT in a simple format. To do that, well, yours truly saves the day. This is a tool that I quickly did with ChatGPT, by the way, and just a few simple prompts. But I quickly prepared a tool where you can just paste the HTML, hit the button, and you're gonna get a clean HTML that you can grab, copy, and paste and use it to train and fine-tune ChatGPT. So go back to the assistant content and simply paste the row in there. We're gonna keep doing this for the rest of the articles now. The last part is about internal links. As you may have noticed, we want ChatGPT to output the prepared HTML that we can paste directly into WordPress. The last piece of training data is gonna make sure that your content already comes prepared with all the relevant internal links. You're gonna prompt the system with something like this. So this is a comma-separated list of relative links to my existing articles. Whenever you use one of those keywords or a similar phrase in the output HTML, make that keyword or phrase a relative internal link. The best way to do this is to go to the sitemap of your website and just grab all of the URLs, paste them in an empty Excel spreadsheet, grab just the URLs column, paste them in a simple text document. I usually like to replace the domain name with the simple comma. This is a list of all the relative URLs of that website. Now all we have to do is put them in the same line so that it's easier for ChatGPT to understand this. And once all of that is done, simply paste them in the area like this. Now, in the user part, I recommend grabbing your biggest, baddest articles with the most hyperlinks and using that to train it. After all of that is done, you're going to want to save your training data in the JSON-L format. That's the only format that you can use to fine-tune ChatGPT. Okay, the next part involves some coding. Don't be afraid, this is super easy. We're going to go through it step by step. I'm going to show you how I did this. Head over to collab.research.google.com and just hit File, New Notebook. You're going to get greeted with an empty prompt. The first thing you want to do is install the OpenAI SDK. Just type in !pip install OpenAI and then run the command. After that, you're simply following the instructions provided in the fine-tuning guide by OpenAI. You're going to need to import the OpenAI package, set your API key. By the way, if you're hoping to use this key after seeing this guide, well, don't get your hopes up. This is going to be deleted. And then you're going to type in the following: openai.file.create. You're going to specify the file parameter and the purpose to be fine-tuned. Then you're going to upload the training data with the JSON-L format in the file section over here. You're going to run that command and the file is going to be uploaded. The next part is where the fine-tuning starts. So again, you're going to import the OpenAI package, set the key one more time, and then go with the following command: openai.finetuningjob.create. You're going to specify the training file parameter, and for this, you're going to grab the ID of the previous command's response. The model is going to be GPT 3.5 Turbo. You're going to run that. That command may take some time to run. Also, be aware that you might get some errors here. I got the error that the file is not prepared several times. If that happens, give it a minute and then try again. After that, the fine-tuning job is going to start. You can check its progress by listing it like this. This may take a few minutes, or some people even report a few hours, but eventually it's going to get done. You can also check the status by specifying the ID of the job itself. By the way, before you start fine-tuning, you may want to check how much it's going to cost you. You can use the tokenizer tool from ChatGPT here. Fine-tuning usually costs fractions of a cent for 1,000 tokens. This is the cost for a fine-tuning job I did on 10 complete articles. They were pretty long. Each of them had at least 2,000 or 3,000 words. I input all of them in the training data, and it cost $3.22. After the fine-tuning job is complete, you're gonna get a status succeeded message, and then you can proceed and use the fine-tuned model. So all you have to do is specify in the model parameter string from here, the fine-tuned model parameter. You're just gonna paste it over here, and then simply you're gonna prompt the ChatGPT API as before. The system prompt should be the same thing you used in the training data, and in the user prompt, you're gonna specify the article or the keyword that you want your article to be written in. After you run the command, you're gonna get the entire article done with HTML, completely prepared for publishing. This is how I'm gonna do things from now on. This is a really quick and dirty guide. I just wanted to get you guys started on this. I hope you make clones of yourself that create blogs for you that earn you money. I'm planning on doing this myself, training my team to use this, and I'll probably do a more detailed, more complete guide on this very soon. I'll talk to you soon.